All right. Well, I don't know if you guys saw on the social medias, but we're gonna have a new wolf pup to the pack. Did you guys hear?
No, it's not you, Jeff. You're not the
No.
pregnant one.
Okay.
No.
Jonathan.
I wish I'd get rid of it in a
Ricketts,
few months. Yes.
Jonathan Ricketts making the announcement. His wife expecting. Very exciting. Congrats to the Ricketts family. Guys, obvious question here. What do you think we're gonna name the little bambino?
Jiminy
Ricketts? That's
Jiminy
not bad.
Ricketts.
Jiminy Ricketts.
Jiminy Ricketts.
Good.
If it's a
Good
boy,
call.
I also wouldn't mind Ricardo Ricketts, so it could be Ricky Ricketts.
Ricky Ricketts. That would be good.
That's good. Going for some alliteration. I
Yeah.
think the obvious answer is Rusty.
Rusty Ricketts.
Rusty
Middle name,
third
kit.
Rusty third kid Ricketts.
Sweet.
That's the way to go.
Yeah. Oh, Bob.
SoccerChatt with 2 T's because we're going to chat about soccer, but we're also in Chattanooga, so it's like a play on words. And Chattanooga is a soccer city.
Welcome to SoccerChatt Season 3, almost as fancy as Applebee's on a date night. Adam and Jeff here with Alex. And we've got an exciting show. We've got Coach Jimmy Obleda. We're going to be talking about Greenville and the upcoming game with North Carolina, as well as going 3 for 3 in SoccerChatt fandom in the EPL. So let's get started and bring on our guest, head coach Jimmy Obleda.
Head couch.
Welcome to the show.
What's up, guys? How are you?
Doing good, Coach.
We started talking about the wonderful news with baby Ricketts. Have you made your pitch for little Jimmy Obleda Ricketts yet?
I can't really hear you guys. I don't know if you kind of like echoed out.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, it's like an echo. I wonder if I need to maybe move my car somewhere, but here, let me do this. Give me a second. I'm gonna move my end of the studio somewhere.
All right, so we're gonna
Can you guys hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, we hear you just fine.
Yeah, you guys.
I think he realized
You
which
guys-
podcast he was on, and he's trying to get out. So
Yeah, I'm having no luck like hearing you guys. All right, now let's see.
All right. So what with being on Soccer Down Here and now on ESPN Radio, we're glad to know that you're not too big time for us anymore.
Me? Never. I know my roots. I always know where I came from and who's always been in my corner from the beginning.
So, Coach, you talked a lot all season about trying to make sure that you have the team peaking at the right moment. We're now going into kind of the final quarter, the home stretch with the last 7 games of the year. So do you feel like this team is where it needs to be, peaking as it comes to the end of the year going into the playoffs?
That's a good question because, it's one of those things that now we want to be peaking at this moment and really finding the final details and stuff of where we need to be to get into the playoffs and hopefully win a championship. So for us, it's I don't know if we're peaking. I don't know I think we're in that place right now where we've had a good season so far. That's kind of kept us in a good position, and it's almost like what's the next step of the peak, right? The peak would be getting in the playoffs and winning the championship. So right now, to me, in a lot of ways, it's about making sure guys are healthy because it has been a long season. We have guys all season that have been in and out and a lot of lineup changes that we've had to make that we weren't planning on making. And it's ended up being okay for us or successful for us. So, the key is to have the guys healthy and peaking would be getting into the playoffs right now, solidifying that, and then once we get into there, then it's game on and winning one game at a time.
All right, so Coach, when you look at this team and you look at the makeup that you've got a really stable backline that you've used. So my question is, what is the area that you see as the greatest opportunity for consistency to be gained?
I'm sorry, what was the question? What's the area?
What's the area on the field that you look at and you say, this is the area we have the most opportunity for either improvement or for just having a consistency?
What's the area? Sorry, it keeps getting cut out. So what's the area consistent?
Yeah, so when you look at your lineup, you've had a pretty consistent back line. And we've had a pretty consistent rotation of players in some other areas. Is there an area you look at and say, this is the area where players have the best opportunity to kind of solidify themselves and move into a consistent starting lineup? Is there somewhere on the pitch that you say, this is where we have the best opportunity?
Well, I think, the back line, we finally got it to a point where it had a 4-game, I think, unscored on run. And we're happy with what they've done. I think the midfield's been in and out because of injuries and players coming back. I mean, if you're going to ask me of one area, I'd probably say the starting center forward position is the one where we're looking for someone that can start the game out and consistently put in a performance that gives us an upper hand, let's say, in the early into the games. We know Galindras can come off the bench and score some goals. We need someone that can do that from the beginning. So if there's a spot, if you're asking me a spot where we feel that it's I don't want to say up for grabs, it's not that, but where we're looking for a consistent player to come in and kind of get that job done, I would say in the center forward and even the wingers position, because we haven't had a clear out winger that's been so explosive and so dynamic and such a difference maker that he's been able to really solidify that spot. So if you ask me, I'd probably, long story short, probably the whole front line looking for those guys that are going to come in and really make a difference right now.
So I'm going to give you one follow-up to that real quick. One of the things that's been great for our team is we've had a lot of players that consistently are getting on to Team of the Week and some other areas. Can you point out a player that you feel has done an excellent job but hasn't gotten the recognition they deserve for the quality that they've put out there on the pitch for you? I keep putting you on the spot. Sorry.
I think no. I think, there's been a few, you know what I mean? I think, we don't, I think Daniel Navarro hasn't gotten the recognition that he deserves. He hasn't gotten the acknowledgement of how important he has been back there. You know what I mean? I think he's been one that's been very, very instrumental in really his experience in teaching. I don't want to say teaching, but helping Ramos in another year of experience. They've had a good back pair. I think the other one that I would think that that perhaps is doesn't get really the credit that he deserves. Is Carrera. I think he's been I think initially he was in the Team of the Week and stuff, but I mean, that guy, the work he does with the ball, off the ball, the roles that he plays, I think a lot of people don't see that because, we see the flashiness of the goals and the 1v1 defending and stuff like that. I don't think, but we don't see the intangibles and the little different nuances of the game that he affects every day, every game. So, if coming off top of my head, probably those are the two young men that I would think right now they've been so important to us that I don't think people really give them the recognition they deserve.
Very good. Now, you had mentioned about the front line being something that still needs, I guess, maybe worked on a little bit or solidifying. What is it to help us get that final third That's been, I mean, we've had some really awesome goals, but we haven't had them consistently. We've had some great chances created. They haven't all gone in. Of course, they will never all go in, but what is it that we're missing in that final third to lock things down?
What all the big clubs in the world pay millions and millions and millions of dollars for? A goal scorer, a consistent goal scorer. I mean, again, and I'm not, it's a reality, right? I mean, the guys who consistently score goals at the highest levels are worth billions of dollars, right? I mean, with everything. Why Cristiano Ronaldo at 37 years old can be what he is. Why, you know what I mean? And because he scores goals, and it's a gift. I think this is the other thing that people understand. Like, I think if you look at our games, we've put I think every player's been in great positions, and we finished most of them, but there's ones we have to finish that are clinical, that affect the game, right? And again, I'm very hopeful. I don't know if hopeful is the right word, but I have expectations that now, as we start to Alex's original question of peaking, I'm very I'm ready for all of them consistently to do it. You know what I mean? And the guys that start and the guys that come off are able to because then the game becomes so much. I'll be honest, the game becomes so much easier when you can score 2 goals, and now you're the attitude's different, the mentality's different than doing it the way we like to do it and chasing it till the final minutes.
Well, we're at League One is third on the tier on the pyramid, so obviously we're not going to be able to pour the millions into each player. So, and I know we're not the only team that struggles with this, but there's a kind of an equilibrium of trying to get the most for your buck, but at the same time, you're only going to be able to afford so much as a League One. So,
I think Jeff's offering services, is what he's saying.
Yeah. Would you rather have a talent you could build to be that solid finisher, or would you rather have more budget to bring in someone with that history? Which would you rather have?
Well, that's a good question in the sense that I wouldn't mind having both. And no, let me rephrase that. The players that we have, they're capable of doing it, right? It's them being able to do it. Does that make sense? They're capable of doing it. So it's not like, and we know where we're at and the level that we're at, and there's some very talented players, and this is where the motivation of scoring goals to win games, to win championships, that's where, that's what League One is about, and that's where it's these opportunities for these guys to just do so well that, 1, they help win a championship or get you in the playoffs and win games. And 2, I mean, for them to do well and move up to another level, MLS or whatever it is, or overseas. So I mean, again, if I was, I'm happy with everyone I have, but it's now me challenging them that they have to do their job, or they have to do what they're asked to do. And that's, score goals. And that goes for anyone. I mean, it's not just the forwards, it's anyone that's put in that position.
So let me take you to something a little bit I think that you're going to be excited to talk about, and that's the last couple of games at home and the supporters areas behind the goals. You've come over multiple times and asked a lot of those guys coming from UTC that have been joining us. What has that been like for the team to experience having that larger group there behind the goals, supporting them and getting onto the opposing keeper?
Well, I think again, people don't understand, and it's a learning process, a growing process, of soccer in America, the weight that a supporter section has on a game and the impact that it has in a loud supporter section. There's a such thing, again, where there's stadiums you don't want to go play at around the world because of the supporters, because they make it so difficult and so challenging and just such a hostile environment. I would go so much to say that our environment with the supporters and what they've created is that it's something that like I said from day one, eventually we're going to have something that no other place in the country has with Soccer City USA here, and having a fan base like the supporters that we have that are just constantly creating an environment where you have it almost like sways some of the momentum to your favor. You know what I mean? And we're waiting for them to, once they start getting chants and songs, and once it starts going to that level, it'll go to the whole environment will be a different animal. For the players, I mean, you know, for half of them, their experience was last year where, you know, with COVID and everything, it was just so restricted and it was just very different. Now, playing in front of fans and playing in front of those, I mean, and it's not just the ones behind the goal, it's everywhere. You know what I mean? So, you know, I said this today to someone when I was doing a podcast, like, I want our fans to come and be there and be loud and share their support and their, for lack of a better term, love for the club by pushing us on, getting us into that, you know, getting us to the finish line, because their support is ultimately what gives us the extra edge and what gives us the extra boost those last 10, 15 minutes. And when people get up and just loud and just, you know, are telling Marky to run and telling us to go and stuff, it's something very special. I mean, again, from the outside, maybe you guys don't see it, but when we're inside, we feel it, we see it, we live it with the fans.
So are the players, when they come off the field, when you guys are talking after the game or you're talking at practice, are they you know, noticing the noise? Are they talking about how it helps them, pushes them and allows them to perform?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, there's jokes we talk about after some of the games, like they'll tell you, I mean, maybe some stuff you guys can't hear, but some of the stuff that goes on behind the goal that we hear, that they hear, you know what I mean? And they just crack jokes and it's just, oh, for sure. I mean, it's the closest thing. It's, again, maybe we're kind of spoiled because we don't know it, but to environments that I've played in and stuff, it's the closest thing to like a very, what is it? You know, an environment that's very, just a soccer environment for the best example. It's a really true soccer environment. And it's great. It's great. The guys love it. I'm telling you, the guys love it. And, you know, I'm encouraging everyone to come out this Saturday and be loud and be supportive, because this Saturday is a big game. We're almost there, and we just got to get across that first finish line, or that, you know, get across that first goal. And but we need the support of everyone, and not just sitting there. I mean, we need you pushing us through it.
So I need to apologize real quick to you, Coach, because I gave the ref a hard time in the last home game and asked him if he accidentally left his book of cards at home. He then responded to me and said, "Shh, I did," and then immediately gave a card to our team. So I feel bad about that. He wanted to prove to me that he hadn't.
Crazy.
So that's on me.
It's crazy. Yeah. So, there's no words to describe There's no words to describe that.
I'd like to give a hat tip to my wife. She came up with the name for Soccer City for that whole development area around the stadium. But talking about this game coming Saturday, you're encouraging everyone to come out. You made your appearance on ESPN Radio here locally to talk to folks. Sean was on the rival Sport Talk 102.3. You guys are doing a great thing for first responders, doing a community heroes night. What do you think you need to do as a team to come away with another win against North Carolina, a team we've beaten twice? But you know, it was a close game when they came here to Chattanooga the first time.
We need to score goals. We need to score goals and not give up any goals. Anything in between those two aspects is gravy. So we need to be clinical in the final third. We need to any chance we get, finish it. And if and again, I've said this before, you cannot overlook any team. Doesn't matter what place they're in, how many games whatever. You can't overlook anyone. It's such a paired league, and anybody can beat anybody at any time. And if you underestimate someone, you're gonna get knocked in the mouth. You know what I mean? And by far, you know, I think this game is one that we're not overlooking. We're preparing for, and we're very focused for. But the reality is, if we score goals, we're going to win. And if we don't let them score goals, we're going to win.
Now, we talk about the cards. The last match in Greenville, we saw red. We saw it pretty early. Sebastian got a straight red card, and there's a lot of frustration with that on our end. We weren't sure that was deserved. But how many games is Sebastian going to be sitting out? I know different leagues have, I've heard of as many as 3 or 1. I know it's at least 1. How many games is his suspension?
I think it's 1. I think if I saw correctly the report, it's only 1 game. So he'll sit out this game against NCFC. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Well, I knew on the spot, of course, for those who are new to watching soccer, not only does that player leave, like that referee, but not only do you lose your player, but you can't replace that player directly. So you had to scramble. You had to make some adjustments on what do you feel worked and what do you feel maybe we could have done differently on your response for going from 11-man to 10-man.
I think again, it's games are games, and you play the no team needs an advantage like that going, and you're 25 minutes into a game, against one of the best teams in the league, regardless of how they've been, right? And they get that little advantage. Like, we had to adjust quickly and try to keep it within reach. I mean, it was still 0-0, and it took us like a couple of minutes to kind of adjust, and that's where they kind of found us, and they got the opportunity, the goal, right? But I think after that, if you look at the game, the run of play, the clear opportunities, and calls that were not made that directly affected the game, those, I think, again, it goes to a testament. It goes to a testament to the guys that even with 10 men, some people didn't know. You would have thought they had 10 men the way we were attacking them and breaking them down. And then when it went to 10v10, then it became a little different. But us with 10 and again, that's the character. Again, we sometimes go, the obvious is we lose and we win, right? But how did we lose? I mean, they showed the tremendous amount of grit and fight, and they were, and again, this is the other thing that people, I mean, we just got done going through a war with North Texas 2 days earlier. And if you look at what that game was and how physically, mentally, and emotionally draining that game is, and then 2 days later you're playing against, again, arguably one of the best teams, so, again, I think we did what we had to do, and unfortunately we didn't get the goal that we needed to tie the game. But sometimes you need those little things to kind of put your feet back on the ground and get yourself back working and get yourself ready to make a run and get in the playoffs and win this thing.
All right, Coach. Well, you've been very generous with your time. We appreciate it. We always love having you on, getting to talk to you. Have you thought about handing off some of your responsibilities to Sawcheck and watching the games from the executive club?
That's a good question. Hey, my thing is, they need to be waiting for me. So when we're done, I can go up there. We can go and enjoy it with Sawcheck. Sawcheck wouldn't switch it. And I'm not going to switch it either. I think you guys know well enough how I live the games. You can imagine, again, going back to the Omaha game that I was red carded in. I mean, the hotel room, I must have kicked the trash can about 15 times in that hotel room. You know what I mean? So
I don't think Bob's letting you in the executive during the game. There's no way. No way. So I think the best place for me during games is right where I'm at. You know what I mean? And then after, we can go and hang out and answer and talk to you guys like I always enjoy doing.
All right. Well, tacos for winners. Thank you so much for your time, and you have a great rest of the evening.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you,
Coach.
Coach.
Guys. Look forward to seeing you on Saturday. Thank you for the support always. God bless.
All right. Very cool.
All right.
Very cool.
Head coach Jimmy Obleda. So, guys, we go on to kind of our own little talk about the Greenville game. Do we want to address the elephant in the room, or do we want to talk about the game itself and kind of let the elephant stand there awkwardly?
No, I think we talk about the elephant, and by elephant you mean lack of referee skill, I'm assuming.
The obvious blatant handball of the player twisting himself, swinging his arm behind his back, and ricocheting the ball off his arm in the box that would have led to a penalty that, as Coach Obleda said, it affected the game.
Yeah.
That is not the first time a referee's call or lack of call has affected the outcome of a Red Wolves game. And that, for all our saltiness, for everyone rolling their eyes at us around the league, that's significant. That's us being in first place. That's the chance to host possibly a championship game in a scenario where we get to the playoffs and are one of the top 2 finishers. And so that's very frustrating.
It feels like you don't want to say out loud that the refs couldn't get any worse because they take it as a challenge. And it's progressively slipping down, it seems like, with every match. And it's really, really frustrating, and it's not funny anymore.
Well, the last 2 games are a prime example of how crappy these refs are. First off, I make jokes about the refs talking back to me as I'm standing behind the goal in the supporters area during the second half, but that's completely unacceptable. Like, you're supposed to be a professional referee. You don't engage, especially if, you might engage where if I'm saying something that is a level of crossing the line where you're engaging to security to have me removed, that's one thing. But to engage when I'm joking about you forgetting the cards at home, you don't need to engage with me. That's not your role, is not to engage with the fans. Then the next game, multiple times just ignoring bad plays, not even acknowledging where player gets taken down in the box and you just ignore it. You don't even give like a no, that was, you're trying to fake it, or you're going to give a yellow card for a simulation. You're just acting like it didn't happen. It's one or the other. Either you think they simulated, or you think it's a penalty. It's neither. In the box, you can't just say, oh, I'm ignoring that it happened. A red card where your arm gets thrown behind you, that is not anywhere close to a natural position of your hand. It's just not. And on top of that, if you watch the replay, dude's looking back. He's like trying to hit it with his hand.
Right.
It was not a minor thing. It was not a barely thing. It is a cross in the box going to 3 players. That is ridiculous and completely unacceptable. And I said this, on our internal page, but it's reaching the point for me. I think I actually said it on Twitter. It's reaching a point for me where it's not fun to watch a game and feel like you're playing against 11 men and the ref. It's not fun. It's not fun for anyone. And it's not just Red Wolves fans. Like, there were bad calls that were missed against Chattanooga where they called the second yellow that they called on the Greenville player wasn't a yellow card. It's just not. It's a foul. And it's bad reffing across the board. It was almost like he was like, oh, crap, I really screwed this up. I need to call something. So he calls back-to-back yellow cards within like 10 minutes on the player. Like, I'm sorry. That's bad reffing. And if you go onto like Discord and other places for other teams that are out there, they all complain about it too. It's not just the Red Wolves complaining. So it's not this conspiracy theory against the Red Wolves. It's you've hired terrible referees on a consistent basis, and you seem to be doing nothing about it. And it gets old.
So that leads to my other gripe with this, is that not only are you not doing anything about it, I don't know how much there is to do. There's not some other pool of good referees that they can pull from. This is kind of the theory that I've had, that as soccer has overexpanded and as our pyramid is upside down, where there's 28 going on 74 teams in MLS, and 47 going on 62 teams in USL Championship, and 12 teams in League One. You've run out of referees, and of course everyone in MLS and USL Championship hates their referees because those guys aren't equipped to handle those higher level games. Basically, all the way down, nobody has the experience required. The only way you get it is to have more experience, but the other way you get it is if you hold these guys accountable. And so when there's a horrible, blatant handball in a box that affects the outcome of a game, I don't know, show a replay. The game in Madison where Jonathan Ricketts jumped up, won a header, got undercut by a Madison player, and the referee called a foul on Jono inexplicably and took a goal off the board. They never showed a replay. The commentator is like, oh, I guess they called him offside, which made no sense if you were actually watching the game. There's no replay to say, oh man, I guess he called him for going over the back. That's a little controversial. And if you would put these things on display and embarrass these guys, then they're going to say, okay, maybe I need to tighten up what I'm doing. Maybe I need to, watch some film or anything that a referee can do to get themselves better. Maybe I need to call this more experienced referee that I used to work with coming up. But you have to hold them accountable. And from what I can see, there is nothing holding them accountable. There is actually the opposite in that they are burying these bad calls, refusing to show replays, refusing to even talk about the fact that there's a controversy that people think that maybe that call should have gone the other way. And the referee never seems to, from the actions of that guy in the North Texas game, he knows he's invincible.
Yeah.
He knows that no one is going to go to him and say, hey, Luis, we're not out here for you. You're doing a bad job. You need to do better.
Yeah.
All right. So what the league's options are, and I absolutely agree that with them burying the story makes it look worse. And, them pretending it didn't happen, I think that hurts the league. But the only other option I think that the league has is to do some retraining and to make and to make it public and to make sure that they know that these refs are periodically getting the training they need, but they're
not USL refs.
I know. But if USL has to fix it somehow, that's the only way I see that whether USL leads it, they have to show to us that there's something being done to fix it. And I don't see that outside of, yes, you got to make sure you don't bury it. But in order to get any kind of confidence, I think we need to see that they're actually are working with the refs, whether it's, I know that they're not getting them from USL, but there needs to be something that the USL could show to us. Does that make sense?
I think the USL needs to, I don't know how they do it, but they need to go to Pro, which is the referee organization that assigns for USL, and they need to say, listen, we're going to start withholding game checks from some of these guys until you can show that there's accountability. I don't know what kind of leverage they have or what they can do, but that's where the retraining has to take place with Pro. And the leagues have to start saying, listen, the quality of soccer from MLS all the way down is vastly improving, and you are not keeping up.
I think you just pegged it perfect. I think you pegged it perfectly. If you go back 5 years, when you had NASL and USL Championship, USL Championship was third division. NASL was struggling to hold on to second division. MLS had less teams. There was a lot less to fill spots with. Now you've got Championship significantly grown. NASL is gone, but a lot of those teams moved either to MLS or to USL Championship. You've got League One, which is new, which is right now sitting at 10 teams. You've got NISA, which we don't talk about a ton on this program, but they're on pace for possibly having 13 teams when they start the next short season in the spring. They just announced another team today, and that's a lot of teams. And when you've only had to fill so many holes, it's almost like they didn't think it would ever happen, and so they didn't prepare for it. And I wonder, how much is USL actually paying these refs? Because a lot of these guys are they're local people who they'll do college games locally, like Division III. Like, these are names. If you search for what the other games that these guys ref, these are not guys that are doing Division I NCAA. These are not guys that have been doing a lot of MLS or Championship. These are Division III NAIA refs. So I feel like
some of them are guys that are just doing high-level high school games. And to terrify you even more, I used to do low-level high school games. So
there's that. All right, so let's move on from the refs. Let's talk a little bit about what Obleda brought up, which is, how did you feel we did after we went down 1-0? What was your view of that?
I felt like we still had lots of opportunities, chances to bring it level. I think, kind of like he said, that goal came to us right after we had gone down a man and we're trying to shuffle things around. Had to put our new signing Jonathan Esperanza on the field.
Yeah.
And so they kind of had their focus lost for a second and got beat. And after that, things settled in, and there were plenty of times where it felt like we could have equalized.
Well, I think Esperanza is the love child between Esparza and España, just kind of grouped together. And
that would be one handsome child.
Oh yeah, it was. To me, I was afraid it was going to go south quick, especially when they scored. Was very impressed that we didn't turtle. And so many clubs I've seen over the years, when you get to that situation, you just try to fill up the defense and hope for the best that you're going to get a chance. Coach Jimmy didn't do that. They attacked more. And I was actually quite impressed with, it took a little while to adjust. But after that, we were pushing. We were threatening the whole time. So it's like you back us in a quarter into a corner, then, it's going to get really ugly. And so I love the fight. And if it wasn't for some of these calls, I definitely would see this could have been a draw, if not a win.
All right, so I kind of had the same view. I thought we had, with the right calls, we could have come out with a win, at least a draw. Overall, I was happy with how we handled it. It could have been upside down real quick. Greenville, as Coach mentioned, is a good team. They've struggled. They went through a struggle period there. A lot of it related to some injuries that they have players coming back from. And then the players that have been playing are getting more experience, right? And so I think you're going to see them have a very good down the stretch. They are going to be in the playoffs is my prediction, and we're probably going to see them again. So we better be ready for them because I think they played well. But I think if it was 11-on-11 that entire game, I think we easily walk away with a win. And I think if we had gotten the correct call in the handball and honestly a couple other bad calls too, I think we walk away with a win there. So ultimately, even with a loss, I walk away happy. And I've said this before, I would rather lose a game like that and have a wake-up call and then win the next three than tie that game, tie another game, and then before you know it, you actually have less points out of 4. So I'm not that upset. A tie's 1 point difference. I think when you go down a man and then you go down a goal 3 minutes after that, a tie is what you're hoping for. We didn't get it. I'm not that worried about 1 point, but I am thinking we need to really turn it on. So speaking of that, we are
Hang on. I got one more thing.
Yeah.
Minor criticism that I want to send to the Red Wolves players. You're not going to get a penalty kick this year. Accept it. You need to fight through these challenges.
Yeah.
I know there's training that, a guy sticks a foot in, you feel some contact, go down. You have got to fight that urge because we are giving up the ball in scoring opportunities, expecting the referee to give us a call that I completely agree they should be giving us, but they are not. Stay up, fight through. In the one time that you try to fight through and take a shot, he'll call the penalty. And the other teams will get all upset because the guy didn't actually go down and the referee called a penalty. It'll be something stupid like that. But just accept it. We're not getting a penalty. Keep fighting through the tackle. Take the shot. I'm done.
All right, so let's move to North Carolina because we are 38 minutes into our show. We've got a matchup with them. As Alex mentioned during the interview, we've already faced them twice this year. We won both those games. One game we got their main keeper. The second game we got the kid that they've just now signed to his first professional contract. Congrats again to you. What are you guys looking for as we go into North Carolina, or not go into, but as they come here?
I'm hoping they start their main keeper. Either way, we scored 7 goals total against them so far. So as Coach Obleda talks about the team needing goals and hopefully it's sparking a run as we go through the end of the year, this is the team to do it against. And we get to face them again one more time before the end of the season. So I feel very confident that with a week of rest, they're going to be able to plug and play, with Capizzucci missing. It seems Rafa Menzigan is missing. He's not been in any of these lineups, was in street clothes in the North Texas game. Would love to see him back dressed for the Red Wolves, even if it's off the bench. But I think we've got the talent that's needed to come away with a win that can really key us through the end of the year.
Yeah, I think this is the time to rally. Use the anger for the last game. Behold the power of spite. So I think, the funny thing is I think the loss could be advantageous to us because we want to avenge it against a team that we know we can be in the driver's seat. The only real threat I've seen in North Carolina has been their wonder keeper. Calendar had some of the most amazing games. He's the only one I'm worried about, but I still know we can get goals past him. And more importantly, I know our defense can stop what they can throw at us. So I think this is the chance. The supporters are with you. This is the time to light it up, and let's get as many people on that scoreboard so our confidence is lifted as we go into this positioning for the playoffs.
So, guys, outside of obviously the replacement for Capizzucci with the red card and the suspension, are you expecting any other lineup changes as we prepare for Saturday?
Galindrez started this last game.
Let me look.
Yes.
Okay, I would say maybe Frishy gets the start and Galindrez comes off the bench. Other than that, I don't really see many changes.
Yeah.
Also Navarro back in for Luna. Luna was filling in for Navarro, and I see that going back.
Yeah.
I'm gonna interrupt Jeff one more time just to annoy him. Go ahead, Jeff.
So who do you see coming in for Capizzucci? Is it Esparza, or who's going to be there as our left or right back, depending whoever shows up? Will Luna perhaps be there, or is it going to be Esparza?
I believe Luna can play an outside back position.
Right.
I think the natural one is Espana, who started quite a few games.
Esparza.
Did I say Espana? Because I meant to
You
say
did.
Esparza. In my head, I said Esparza. Everybody take a drink. That's a Forney family tradition. One zag, something outside the box, because we know that North Carolina comes at us with speed, and we love Jonathan Esparza. He's not the fastest. Maybe they go with Christian Zaragoza.
So I thought you were gonna go super outside the box, and you were gonna put Ricky Ruiz back there again, to get super speed. I don't think you're gonna see that. I don't think we're gonna see the kid jump into the starting lineup. I wouldn't be surprised if he's on the bench for this game, because of the hope of going up early and getting him some time and continuing to rest. When you look at our, upcoming schedule, we've got North Carolina this Saturday, and then we hit, New England 2, Richmond Kickers, North Carolina again. So we've got a chance at a run. So the hope is that this takes us there. I think the only change you're going to really see is up top. I think Coach kind of somewhat mentioned that, that he sees almost like a super sub situation happening that we've all talked about out of Tonke, and I think that's what's going to happen. I think he's going to settle him into that position. It's a good position for him, and he's looking for, whether it's Rafa coming back from being on the street or he's looking for Blake to not fall down easily. It's got to be something. The stumbling, bumbling Mormon has to get up there and do what Alex told him to do, which is to handle, getting knocked a little bit and get some goals early, and that's what I'd like to see.
Now, if Rafa is healthy, that could change things, but I also know Coach seems to be hesitant to have a player come off injury and start. So I do expect Blake, we love you, man. The pressure's on. Blake, we need you to be on your game for this match.
All right, so let's get to our painful predictions, because we're 45 minutes in and we still have other areas we want to get to. Jeff, we'll start with you since Salty AF has left us temporarily.
Yeah, so this salt looks like it's been peppered. It's totally black. So I am going to be very optimistic because even though we had a loss, we played very well. We've got momentum. I know North Carolina has been doing some bouncing back, but I don't see them keeping up with us. I am going to go for a 3-0 Red Wolves win. I think that's the biggest I've called for. And so I'm going to hold to that, 3-0.
Okay, I've actually got us getting 4 goals and them getting 1.
Mm-hmm.
And a repeat of the August 10th match. I see us winning this 4-1.
Okay. Same spread, though.
Same spread. Yeah,
Yeah.
just more goals.
Yeah, but I think it's very doable for Troke to get yet another clean sheet.
Yeah, I'm okay with that. And I don't know if Alex is here or not. He's just blacked out. Doesn't look like he is, which is fine.
So we saw someone posted up here. There you are.
Oh, he's back. I think that's Alex posted.
Hey, okay.
All right.
That was me giving a 3-0 prediction.
Okay.
My wife started the car, and for some reason, my phone attached to the Bluetooth, and all heck broke loose. And now I'm on a strobe apparently, but we're just gonna roll with it. 3-0 Red Wolves. Everyone, pay no attention to my blinking screen. Adam, did you make a prediction?
I did.
Okay, so let's move on to a little bit of area soccer roundup potpourri. Hey Jeff, did you see Covenant just completely cheat and take away a win from the Barry Vikings? That's at least the way I saw it.
I did not. I don't get a chance to get to the college matches, and if I follow any, I'm going to follow Brian. So, but are you serious? This is on this allegation. That's a pretty bold statement.
Sad day in Rome. They 2 goals in the last 20 minutes by Covenant to come back and seal the victory, defend Scotland Yard. That's all I have to say about that.
There you go.
Well, hold on. It's possible that Barry may have actually scored 2 goals. Just one was for the wrong team.
That is possible. They may or may not have pulled a Richmond and kicked one.
They're all about giving. They're all about giving.
It's all about the scenery there, Barry.
It's good. Actually, you guys.
They like to watch the ball go in the net for the other team.
Ooh. Ow. Wow.
So, also, we had fun at UTC. They had a Red Wolves night, invited a lot of kids from the academy, but UTK and UTC playing each other. 4 Lady Red Wolves on the field for both teams. Hannah Tillett, Mackenzie Smith, other ladies whose names I can't remember. Exciting night. UTK came away with the win, scoring 3 in the second half. Congrats to them. Also, local interest. Our friends at NoogaToday, you guys subscribers to the NoogaToday daily newsletter? You guys get that in your email? Just me?
Just you.
NoogaToday doing a Suitestakes giveaway.
Well done.
Where you can enter to win 4 tickets and a VIP experience, 1 ticket and 3 to give away to the Brisket Boys and hang out in one of the executive suites and watch a Red Wolves game and have the VIP experience. All you can eat, food and drink, all we can eat, food and drink, and a chance to meet with players after the game. So go to the NoogaToday. You can find them on Facebook and register. And please pick us when you win.
So the awkward question would be, is if one of the Brisket Boys actually won it, would they give it to, they have to bring their spouse. Would you give it to the other 2 Brisket Boys or just one of the other Brisket Boys and their spouse? How would you play that?
So, in all honesty, if I won, I probably don't get to go. It's going to be my wife. It's probably going to be Alex's wife. They're not going to let Alex in there either because they don't want to run out of food.
My wife would pick Adam's wife over me, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
And I can't say that I would blame her.
Yeah, I feel it's the same for me. All right, so last bit of area soccer roundup. Stars our friend Mr. Wolfman Jeff, who was a guest on A Whole Lot of Wolves. Tell us a little bit about that, Jeff.
Yeah, it's a podcast out of Houston, Texas, of American Wolverhampton Wanderer fans. Of course, they play the song "Whole Lot of Wolves," a whole lot of love with the lyrics, a whole lot of wolves. It was a guy from Wolverhampton originally who moved to Houston. Another guy actually from Alabama who moved to Houston. I've been on the show. I think it's my 3rd or 4th time. I have a friend of mine in the Atlanta area, Andrew, who's also from Wolverhampton. And so we represent Alabama and Georgia. And we come on there, we get a chance to talk about the win that we just had against Watford. And we talked a little bit of forecasting, what's going to happen with Brentford this weekend. We had a good time. I asked stupid questions, and it was a lot of fun. So if you want to check out a whole lot of Wolves, those guys are great. If you're a Wolverhampton Wanderers supporter, great way to keep connected.
So that's a good segue into the weekend EPL, and I'm sure a lot of Norwich fans, like our friend and listener John Ricketts, are kind of embarrassed losing to the last place team in English Premier League last Saturday.
Not even going to acknowledge.
Is that good?
That was good. That's pretty good. Yeah.
You could have gone further, being like the only team in Premier League this year to give up a goal to Arsenal. That would have been a little bit better. I love that he froze while slightly smiling and smirking. Like, that could not have fit better. A better time for him to freeze.
It looks like a late 70s, early 80s sitcom ending.
Yeah.
Like good
ridiculous. Yeah, and all three of our teams did win in EPL.
Yes.
One of them won by just giving lots of money to the other team and asking them not to play hard. At least that's the rumor I heard. They had extra money left over because they only spent like $600 million last week. So I don't know. That might be accurate. It's probably not. So moving on.
Two big wins this week for Chelsea. Huzzah.
What is the second game? You're only supposed to play one game a week. That's what I heard.
No, 2 wins. Also a win in Champions League over Zenit St. Petersburg. That's the least newsy part of Champions League week so far. American Jordan Prefok scoring a late winner against Manchester United for BSC Young Boys. Congrats.
Yep.
And shout out Moldovan champion Sheriff Tiraspol.
Yep.
Hoping we can get one of their players on the pod soon and get some sweet gear. But a 2-0 victory over Shakhtar Donetsk.
Yes.
Now
they're not just Moldova; they are in the autonomous region of Transnistria, which claims autonomy and claims to be its own country, but they're not recognized by Moldova. So
is that like a Catalonian thing, or no? It's even more.
No, it's more like
probably similar.
Yeah. It's a little more Occitanian. It's a little more. Yeah, it's a little more aggressive than that. But they still play in the same soccer league as the rest of Moldova. So good for them.
You guys have any other Champions League thoughts?
I got nothing for you.
No. Manchester City scored a lot of goals.
Yeah.
Shocker.
Yeah, that's yeah, they're in top form, but I am delighted to see that Manchester United was beat by a team with, I think, one of the most awkward names of all, Young Boys. So I don't know. That's just I'm not sure how they came up with that name, but
yeah.
All right.
I would imagine their first team fairly young. I didn't really get to watch a lot because I haven't complained enough for Adam to share his Paramount Plus subscription with me. So I'll be working on that. But
I don't need Paramount Plus.
Yeah, there's no reason for it unless they drop one of the new Star Trek shows. Is the only reason to watch it.
Moving along.
Nothing else
to our finale. It is time for the Biggleswade report.
Music.
No.
Where's the music?
No music. I refuse to give you music.
Is there a banner? Give our friends at Biggleswade a banner. It's the least we can do for them.
Yeah, this is Biggleswade, man.
It's a sad day in Biggleswade as all 3 of the teams lost over the weekend. If you go to pitchero.com, That is a place where our friends at Biggleswade Town do kind of a blog, match blogs, and things like that. Oh, there we go. Nice. Biggleswade Town was robbed in their match, just like we were. Obvious handball in the box, not called. Is everybody laughing because you can't hear me?
No, we can hear you now. We couldn't for a little bit there.
Okay.
Great
This
producing.
is awesome. This is awesome. I'm loving this.
Biggleswade Town robbed in their match over the weekend with an obvious handball not called in the box. Would have given them a chance for the draw. Biggleswade FC had a hard loss in the midweek. Biggleswade Town, however, were 3-0 winners in the Southern League Cup. Congrats, Biggleswade Town. Bring home the cup. They play this weekend at Alf Church. Jeff, remember Alf Church?
Yes,
Not
that
Alf.
was a.
Not
It has to do with Alf. Yes, the space alien who eats cats. They've made a church for him. They have to stop this dangerous cult.
So unfortunately, we are not sponsoring the ball, but hopefully our mojo will carry on and they'll have another victory against Alf Church. And then Biggleswade United was home earlier this week. Still looking for their first win. They'll play again this Saturday. Good luck to you, Biggleswade United. Josh Roberts Law, the commentator on a lot of those Twitch stream matches. And we love you guys in Biggleswade.
Very cool.
That's all I got. Man, we managed to squeeze this in under an hour. I didn't think we were going to be able to do it.
Yeah, I got to work on my presentation of your Biggleswade report. It's getting there.
It needs a giant foot to squash it at the end, just like on Monty Python.
That would finish it off well.
That would finish it off very well.
Yeah, we managed to get it in under an hour. I was doubtful as we went a little long with Obleda, which is the way to go because let's be honest, that's why the people are coming on the show is to watch some of those interviews, not to listen to us ramble.
We have less than half the viewers right now that we had when Coach Jimmy was on. Almost a third.
Yeah, shocker. All right, well, now that we've even lost Alex.
Host, yeah.
So I think that's a good point for us to say bye.
Bye.